Hi, this is Mark News from Plant Talk Radio. Thanks for subscribing and listening to our podcast, Your Gardening Questions from Plant Talk Radio. To help keep this podcast free, we're partnering with Stoke Seeds. More than just a listing of vegetable and flower seeds, the Stoke Seeds website is a complete resource center with valuable information on seed starting, planting, and harvesting, plus all the gardening accessories you need to make your garden the envy of the neighborhood. Pre-order your free 2018 gardening guide today from stokeseeds.com. Cultivating successful growers for generations. We'll have more to come from Stoke Seeds in the next few weeks. Now, on to today's question. We're going to talk this morning with Kurt Dramm from the Dramm Watering Products. They have been one of our fine sponsors with our Spring into Spring contest for many years. They have always helped us out with prizes, always giving us different prizes and everything for that. So Kurt Dramm is going to give us a call here in a few minutes.
Well, he's going to be happy to know that I've been a user for years. I don't think as long as they've been in business, but I have used Dramm products. Matter of fact, I think I have 3 at arm's length right now. Watering heads of different kind, one a mister, one kind of like a watering can, and so on. And they are, they're top quality materials for far as I'm concerned.
And I think we have Mr. Dramm on the line. Good morning, Kurt.
Good morning. How are you?
We are fine now that we've got you connected up at this.
I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me.
That's
for some
right.
reason.
Yeah.
Yes, that was indeed the case. We knew that, but we couldn't do anything about it right then.
Okay. Beautiful day in Wisconsin. So.
Well, good. I'm glad.
I hope it's that way there too.
Well, it is. It's a matter of fact. I think I just mentioned at the beginning of the program. Several of my pilot friends call this one a severe clear.
Nice.
Yeah, it is. But it's soon going to be time to need your products daily, if not more often. I've even got a couple of baskets that by the end of the season, I have to water twice a day to keep them as I would like to have them.
Wow.
I was mentioning,
that's great.
Yeah, you could probably hear me. I was mentioning that I've been a Dramm watering matter of using Dramm equipment for a long, long time. I don't even know what that means. How old is your company?
Well, we just celebrated the production of the water breaker, so we use that as our starting date for 75 years.
Well, I have.
So in 1941.
I haven't been using them quite that long, Kurt, but at the same time, I probably kicked in early 60s, mid 60s at the latest. I was a homeowner by then and cared about the foliage and things around the yard. Didn't worry about the rental proposition, although I did even take care of the rental properties with water. The plants have numerous needs, as you know, but water is pretty much key to everything else that happens. So tell us a little bit about your products.
Well, I was about 3 years old when I would go with my father, 2 to 3 years old, go with my father. He had a little greenhouse. He was a florist, but he would have to go to a bigger greenhouse that had larger water volumes. And he knew he needed to make this hose nozzle because his brother was a large cut flower rose grower in Chicago. Mm-hmm. I think he had 7 acres.
Wow.
And in those days, it was all hand watering, and they grew in corn cobs. And they had to apply large amounts of water without washing the corn cobs out. So that was the reason he developed the water breaker.
Well, that's most interesting. Necessity breeds invention almost all the time, or research and raw research, et cetera. But yeah, I never dealt with 7 acres of roses, but I have been, let's just say, remotely by and have seen. The only thing that you spoke to, and I know it's not your product, but you spoke to not washing the corn cobs out. What did that mean?
Well, corn cobs are light, and if you use the hose without our water breaker on, just a straight stream of water, it would just be so forceful it would blow them out of the bed.
Okay, that's what I thought you meant, but I wasn't sure because, corn cobs used to have, let's just say, uses that they are not put to anymore.
Right.
I tell you what, one of the things that I know you guys always help us out with our Spring into Spring contest by giving us some of your products to give away, and we're always looking at them, and we're always impressed by the quality of the Dramm products. They're not like the lightweight products you sometimes see at the big box stores, and you've got some nice products. So what makes Dramm different than other watering products?
Well, I think first and foremost, the product has to work correctly and do a job it's supposed to. So the water breaker and the handle are combined, it's called the rain one. If you have beds, it lets you reach in farther and water, or water underneath the plants when they get bigger.
That's the key.
And the water breaker, of course, does several things. One, it'll apply a large volume of water so you can get your watering completed without washing the soil or knocking the plants over when they're small. And then, because all the 400 tiny streams of water, it picks up the oxygen in the air and aerates the soil. So you need that oxygen in the soil.
I hadn't thought of the aeration factor. That's interesting that you mentioned that. It makes perfect sense. I just never thought about it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, it helps.
Sure. When you're speaking to the head and the arm, I appreciate that. Well, for a couple of reasons. One, I'm a short fellow and a short arm, but at the same time, it gets us under the foliage. That's the thing that I guess I speak mostly to is I tell people if they can avoid watering during the late afternoon so that the plants are wet all night, that they should pray for no rain at that point in time. Of course, that's ridiculous. But when it comes to watering, if it is necessary to water, and you can get under the foliage, you can wet the soil down, hurts nothing. Matter of fact, it improves things and doesn't get the foliage wet and get a fungicide, a fungal matter going.
That's correct. Yes.
Wonderful.
So you have several things that help.
That's right.
And tell us, where can you find the Dramm products, and how can you get more information? Do you have a website? Yes, we have a website. I think you have to go under www.dramm.com, and then you go to the retail products, because we have nowadays we have several other divisions with organic fertilizer and the commercial products, and a new division of water where we reclaim. Let's say we have a 100-acre greenhouse that grows tomatoes or peppers, and they apply all this water. They need to reclaim that runoff water,
right.
And we capture it, we filter it, we clean it, we aerate it, and then we kill the pathogens off with ozone before it goes back in the air. And of course, I'll just tell you one more thing about the oxygen. When we ozonate, the ozone is O3. Once it hits the water, it becomes O2, oxygen. And so the water gets a high concentration of oxygen, and we've seen amazing results because of that in these greenhouses.
Fantastic. That's something the public doesn't know, and I want to thank you for introducing them to that.
You're welcome. But yeah, they can find us on the website.
Very good.
And we're available in 99% of all independent garden centers.
Good.
And the hardware stores, different hardware stores like Ace, True Value, Do It Best.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you brought up that business of oxygenation, and then also the reclaiming of water. Well, I imagine 99% of the public doesn't know of the need for that, the necessity, and then even in some areas, the laws that require that. So I'm glad to hear that you've moved on into that future.
Yes, we certainly have.
Well, that's great.
And Mr. Dramm, thank you so much for talking with us this morning. And
hey, thanks for the call. I really appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you, Kurt.
Thanks again for listening to the podcast. If you have a question for Fred, go ahead and email us, fred@planttalkradio.com. And for the best selection of vegetable, flower, and herb seeds available, go to www.stokeseeds.com. Pre-order your free 2018 gardening guide today from stokeseeds.com. Cultivating successful growers for generations.